within the space that the owners of the mine cannot be the operators of the mine or the contractor, if you will. So you cannot be the same person who is said to own the mine and the same person who is running the contract, which is why you would have seen that in the past 20 something years, Mr. Ibrahim Mohammed's EMP, or Engineers and Planners, as the extended name of the abbreviation is, has been working closely with Goldfields, and Goldfields thought that they were the best fit to take over from them. In fact, if you listen to him as well, he had espoused the fact that he did not just jump in from, out of the blue to come and say that I want this mine, but it's because he had been there for a very, very long time. Goldfields knew that their lease was expiring. They had indicated that, well, they were going to leave anyway. And then they asked that, okay, what do we do? And he said, it's too no. He went to prepare a plan, went to share the plan with them, and Goldfields said, no. 1 more year, it will not be bad for us. So after they're done, they said, well, we will sell it to you. He said, well, you cannot sell it to me. What we can do is that you have to give it to me because you have cheated me over all these years. And I like the fact that he was very, very thankful to the former president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, for giving that letter of no objection, which we saw in 2022, signed by the Chief Director of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources on behalf of the minister at the time, Samuel Abu-Jinapor, MP for Damongo. So it's good news to hear that finally a wholly Ghanaian owned enterprise is going to run our mine. We're not going to have the chunk or the bulk of the money leave our shores. The money will be invested here, and I can only imagine the joy and excitement over the weekend. I don't know if you saw that video, Marwana, of some staff of the Damang mine wearing not uniforms of engineers and planners. They were wearing uniform of Goldfields, and they were boogieing down in the rain. They were so excited about the takeover. For me, the key highlight is this: happy that the Ghanaian has taken over, happy that the money will stay here, happy that no jobs will be lost, which is the principal thing usually when some of these things happen. Happy that Mr. Ibrahim Mohammed himself has said that, look, going forward, we're going to have an airport, we're going to have hospitals, we're going to have schools, we're going to have astroturfs and many other things. And a concrete road for me also, a concrete road from where the Damang area all the way to Cape Coast. So it's good news for us. We only pray and hope that he sticks to his word. We only pray and hope that we get the best out of it for ourselves. Yes, because for a long time it has been, I wouldn't say business as usual. For a long time it's been, we're told that yes, we're comedy, and we're told that we have money, we're rich. We go out there into the world, and sometimes we go begging, and they know that we have bauxite, we have gold, we have diamond, we have timber, we have this, we have that, we have cocoa, we have everything, and we are so still impoverished. For me, it's good news. It's also good news because there will be a certain blueprint, I hope, that will not be derailed irrespective of the party or the administration that forms the government. That for me is very important. If we have a blueprint, it doesn't matter if tomorrow it is not EMP that is running Damang, which is known as to be the hardest rock in Africa. And so you'd have to spend a lot more resources trying to mine and all of that. It doesn't matter who has to run the mine. Whether administrations change or remain same, we must see that the bigger benefit is to the Ghanaian people and the Ghanaian government. That's all. So congratulations to Mr. Ibrahim Mohammed and his EMP. And maybe when the airstrip is done or the airport is done, it will be easier to take a flight to Damang. Now you have to take it to flight to Takoradi and then drive.
You do via road.
Yes, you drive all the way to Damang. So let's see how it goes.
Right. For a number of people as well, we've not seen that quite captured on a lot of the papers. But the president was in the northern region throughout the weekend. I inspected a number of projects and had some dealings with NETCO as well, the Northern Electricity Development Company. I'm promising sweeping changes. But in and around that has been recurring, I don't want to say recurring, but spots and spots of power outages in different parts of the country. I don't know if you've had to experience any from the weekend. The explanation we've gotten is there's the ejection of a number of transformers and what have you, and we've been getting notices. What I have not seen a great deal of is some of the notices, and the outages have been a bit frequent in the last few weeks.
I have not had power outages though, but I've experienced that my tap has gone off. So
the tap is not running.
Yes, it's not running, and based on the previous experiences and the conversations that sometimes you have had with either Dr. Nini Aiku of the ECG or Mr. William Boatin of the ECG or Stanley Marty of Ghana Water Company, they tell you that there's a certain relationship between the availability of electricity and the smooth flow of water. And it is simply because the pumps that they use at the Ghana Water Company Limited depends also sometimes on electricity. So, for example, if within this Klote-Kole constituency or the Kanda constituency, Ayawaso East constituency, there's a transformer that has to be changed because it is obsolete, it's grown old beyond its lifespan, and it's not able to handle the capacity of the growing population in the area. You might experience that. These are not official responses. I am just saying that based on my experience from back in the day up until now, it's only goes without saying that I can safely say or suggest that this could be the reason. But Mariana, it's interesting that it took us so long for us to come to realize this. Take an area, for example, like the Ringway Estates, right? The Ringway Estates where the beloved GIJ is located. This was predominantly a residential area, right? It was predominantly an area that had, if you like, the bourgeoisie and the indigents and perhaps a few proletariats living in those communities. Now, fast forward, you go to places like Osu, you go to the Ringway Estates itself, you go to places like Adabraka, all within the Korle Klote constituency, and you find a lot of high-rise apartments springing up, almost on a monthly basis. You find some home that you knew now being demolished, and then you find a high-rise build. But then the pumps that are supposed to bring you water, the pumps, the transformers that are supposed to bring you power supply really hasn't changed. So then you find that in most of those places, there's low voltage, and low voltage per also my experience, and I don't know if you have experienced it as well, makes your credit run quickly. The power is on, the lights are dim, you can't use it for anything. If you decide to keep them on, that's your own wahala, but then you would have to be paying for what you are pretending to be using, or what is being pretended to be provided for you, and that's a big concern. I'm just wondering how it took us so long to have come to this realization. I hope that it will be the end of an era where we will have to come to the point where we import, and that's why I stand with the President of the Republic, that if we have the engineers here, we have the capacity here, and we have the wherewithal to be able to do these things, to assemble these transformers here, why have we always gone out there? Is it because of somebody's local fuel? or is it because we are trying to maintain a certain relationship with the countries that we import these things from, so that in future when we go begging or asking for loans or grants or some favors, we don't lose them? I think that dependency theory must become a thing of the past gradually, because if you look at Rostow's development theory, I mean, from a dependency theory, certainly is not the best way to go. We would have to move on and be dependent enough so that you can also call the shots. So that when Mr. Donald Trump of the United States, having mentioned that we have a 10-day or 2 weeks ceasefire,
Yeah.
and then suddenly he decides that, okay, let's go through the Strait of Hormuz, let's not observe the stops that the Iranians are putting there, let's try and bomb them, and they actually do, and then when we finish, let's seize a flag. And you expect the Iranians not to retaliate? They will retaliate. And once that happens, it affects all of us. It certainly affects all of us. So we have to end that dependency theory. It's very important for me. Very, very important for me.
All right. It's important you mention the crude oil situation. Good morning to you Sixers as well. We're seeing, I don't want to call it prices have gone up exponentially, but they've gone up nonetheless following that development, because I got the indication we're in the $89 per barrel region. Is this a good time for the conversation around floor price to be resurrected again? I'm asking this because, when the ceasefire, when Iran announced that they have opened the strait, prices dropped to about $89 per barrel. There are conversations that immediately, for persons who were bringing in refined products, they won't be paying for it as high as they used to. And so if there were no floor price, or if the market was not every pricing window, they could immediately see a reduction in terms of price as well for the consumer. And so that's been one of the major arguments put forward by Star Oil about this floor price. You think we should be revisiting it again in the face of what has been some drop from, the $100 per barrel mark to where we are now?
80 something.
Now it's back to 95 because of the firing of what's from the weekend.
Well, it's tricky. For those of us who initially argued or stood with Star Oil that the floor price was affecting we the masses, and that if there were an OMC that could do below that and still maintained its profit margins, it should be allowed to do so, while at the same time not compromising on quality. But you see, we cannot always argue when it suits us. If we were for it, we should also be for it, irrespective of what the consequences are. They say it's only a fool who doesn't change his mind, so we can change our minds to say that we are not for it again. But point is that for those of us who have always argued along those lines, the belief is that there are drops, or some of the OMCs are able to do these, sell at a certain level and still make their margins. And in any case, there are circumstances we cannot control, they cannot control. And so, taking into consideration the circumstances that are beyond all of us, our control, then we would also be able to evaluate. But bottom line is that we need to revisit that conversation. That was your question. And to have a conclusive determination of that particular matter. So that let me give you a quick example. When we had the 36 cedi benefit and the 2 cedi benefit on diesel, 36 pesos benefit on petrol and 2 cedis on diesel. Some were still on the 13.30. Others went to 13.26 or 7. And some were still doing 14 cedis. So at that moment, a question of quality is raised. You know, there are two variants of super. There's a RON 95
and then the regular one.
And usually the RON 95 is what is priced higher.
That's right.
So, I beg your pardon. Whether all the OMCs who sell the 14 something are using the RON 95 by default, are 7 RON 95 by default, or some are selling the regular ones at the 14 something, it's also a question that the regulator would have to provide some oversight on. So that if we all agree that based on the quality, this RON 95 is supposed to cost higher, and there's a certain benefit that should go to the consumer, we don't see some of the OMCs still shooting up outrageously higher than all the rest. Because if somebody is doing 13.30, another is doing 13.26, Star was doing 13.30 even after the 36 peso benefit. Allied was doing 13.30. Star was doing 13.26 or so. Guel doing 13.30. And the other one, Shell was around 14. So that's where the question is coming up. Do we have, is Guel by default 7 RON 95, or it is 7 the regular? And that is probably where the question of control, floor pricing may be considered. So that if the scale is the same, we shouldn't have a situation where that disparity, even in the face of a benefit to the consumer, is so wide. But ultimately, we should have that conversation. And for those of us who always have argued that, look, those who use the fuel, you are driving your car, you go and buy it. The trotro driver needs to provide transportation to the rest of us on our own cars. How do we ensure that benefit goes directly down to the people? And if an OMC can do better at the pump, why do we restrict? Can we have other ways of checking the quality without necessarily making it a pricing matter? I also understand that it comes down to at the point of buying the fuel, the OMC. At that point, whether they are relying on credit, they are picking it on credit.
Whether they are paying upfront. They are picking it to go and retail and come and pay.
I understand all of that influence pricing. And that may be a conversation that I am not competent to have. But ultimately, do we need to have that conversation again and have a full determination of same? Yes.
So you see, I look at it from this layman's point of view. Yes, there's a floor price that we all know, or we have all been told about. That's one. But two, it comes back to you wanting to buy a bottle of water. If you go to a five-star hotel to buy a bottle of water, the price will be different. If you go to a 3-star, it will be different. If you go to a 1-star, it will be different. If you go to a corner restaurant, it will be different. If you go to a chop bar, it will be different. If you go to Auntie Awo's shop in the container, it will also be different. So there's a floor price, and then there is the margins that the people put on it based on, their brand and whatever, value they add to the service that they are providing for you, so that the customer experience is enhanced and it can be repeated. However, you know that over the years, there've been a certain mentality that has been pushed out there that, oh, if you buy from fuel station A, the quality is better than when you buy from fuel station B. And so business or market is usually driven towards fuel station A, and fuel station B is left for a very, very long time with the fuel in their underground tanks, and they are not retailing. Meanwhile, fuel station B also has staff, they have overheads, and all the other things that make a business run smoothly to deal with or to handle. How do we as a country ensure that we have enough people to police the fuel stations so that you do not have a situation where the fuel quality at fuel station A and fuel station B differs? Because they're all picking from one source.
Exactly.
And so when they are retailing, that quality must be there, must cut across. Then you, the consumer, will decide that, okay, I want to stay loyal to fuel station A because when I go there, while I'm buying or filling my tank, there's somebody who is dedicated who comes out there to come and clean my windshield for me, maybe clean the car.
The added value. You
so
receive.
Based on that, I want to go there because I'm a very busy person. I may not have had time early in the morning to do that, and so if I am returning home, or if on my way to work somebody who can take 2 minutes to quickly do that for me, why not? Fuel station B may not offer that. Yes. However, you find yourself in a situation, Marina, where if you're traveling to the hinterlands, right, those same customers who say, oh, we don't buy from this station, we don't buy from that station, and you find yourself in the middle of the road or in the middle of a journey, and your fuel is running low, you have no other option than to swallow your pride and go to that same fuel station that you have been bastardizing for all this while to say, Master, please top up for me. Sometimes you even want to fill the tank, but you say, look, you give me a little. When just I get enough. To
my favorite spot,
you won't relay that message to the individual, but so you give me X because you've calculated how much fuel you want. Now, who says that will not affect your engine anyway if the fuel was not good? Because even if you put 2 teaspoons of that bad fuel in a full gallon of good fuel, it will still come back to affect it. So we need to have that public education and that assurance from the regulator, which is the NPA, the national security as well, the same energy with which they're able to combine their forces to, intercept people who are trying to smuggle fuel and cheat the system and all of that. We should have that same energy, pushed out there so we can have them at vantage points and know that they have checked maybe on an hourly basis or on a 2-hourly basis to say that the fuel quality is at par with the standards that we have set, and so you are free to buy from anywhere that you choose. So that when I see 15 cedis 33 pesos, and I see 12 cedis 20 pesos, and I see 11 cedis 10 pesos, and I see 10 cedis 5 pesos, I will choose 10 cedis 5 pesos because it will be good for my pocket, but it will serve the same purpose. That's all this big conversation is about. People are scared to go and buy fuel from stations that they do not have trust in. But you see, Marina, I spoke to somebody too on the quiet, an industry person, and he says that, look, all those fuel stations that people have a certain perception that, oh, they are the low-hanging fruits and they are not fit for purpose and they sell cheap fuel, blah blah blah. When they set up fuel stations at the bougie, so let me use a place like I'm not trying to offend anybody this morning, but maybe Tabora Alaj, the back ends of Tabora Alaj. You set up fuel station B there, branch there, and then you bring the same branch of fuel station B to a place like East Legon or maybe Cantonments. The rich people in those bougie areas still go to fuel station B because they think that, oh, they have brought it to us and ours will be of good quality.
Better quality.
Yes. But those who live at, how is that even same vendor?
That's the mindset with which they also used to take more money from you.
Exactly. So I'm saying that It is we, the citizens, who have ended up believing that construct. That's what is affecting us. Because look, when did Star Oil come up? Star Oil is what, 20 years? Star Oil, yeah? When did they come up? Before Star Oil, there was BP. Before Star Oil, there were many other filling stations or fuel OMCs in this country that were selling fuel to Ghanaians. Today, where is BP? BP is no more. Today, there's still Goil, there's still Total, which used to be Mobil, right? Total used to be Mobil. There's still Shell. There's the almighty Goil, which belongs to all of us. And I believe that we have to do business with the state. It's important that we do. So Goil, SIC, all those ones, yes. But beyond that point, it is a construct that we have been made to believe. And we ourselves have also fueled the growth of that contract and the construct. And that is what is hurting us, I'm telling you. Because sometimes when you are broke, Mawena, and you know that, oh, Charlie, what is left in my pocket is 250 cedis, and you need fuel urgently to go somewhere, you suddenly forget about this
quality. You only spend 50 cedis.
You don't think about this quality conversation. It is when your financial situation changes that suddenly you remember that, oh, fuel the upper, where did it come from?
The strength of your pocket.
I mean, yeah, it's. I mean, the point you make is very interesting, and the OMCs, they will continue to sell to you and say we are the best quality and all of that when they are all lifting from the same place. When if it's not around like 95 that you are buying from
it's like the boys selling phone cases and earpieces and each one will tell you original. All of them are selling original.
But the people who sell meat pie to us, sometimes you buy this is meat pie and then you see opoku in the pie. Opoku tuna opoku in the pie, but they tell you
it's meat
pie, Charlie.
Wow,
it's
tuna.
It's proper opoku. You know, it's a thing that we have to look at it. But I think that it's the NPA's job. All of this falls on the lap of the NPA. If the NPA gives the public that assurance and there's proper surveillance and vigilance, I'm sure that we will not be having this conversation about who's pricing. And when that happens, guys, it will force those who are overpricing their fuel to how do you call it, to profiteer excessively from us, to now try and play ball. Because when the market starts making a certain demand of you, you would have to supply. You have to respond in a certain manner. And I liken it, man, to our market women these days. They're complaining. All right? They're complaining bitterly that sometimes their wares are not being bought, especially those who are selling perishable goods like tomatoes, onions, plantain, etc. Now, back in the day, a bag of maize, if I'm not mistaken, cost more than 1,000 cedis. Today, a bag of maize is about half that price or perhaps lower. Now, let's assume that I am a school feeding caterer, okay? And the monies that are paid to me has not reduced, even though, in my opinion, I think that is woefully inadequate what is given to them, because it goes then to harm the quality of food that is given to the children. Now, I'm a school feeding caterer. In the past, I used to spend, let's say, 1,000 cedis to buy a bag of maize. Now I'm spending 500 cedis to buy that same bag of maize. But when I'm going to collect my money from the school where the children enjoy the meals, I will not be quoting 500 Ghana cedis as the rate. I'll still be charging a plate of the meal as 3 cedis, whatever that they are paid. So I would have made some money off from the maize and maybe other food commodities. But I won't be letting the taxpayer or the government feel it. Now, what am I saying? If you go and buy plantain in bulk at a certain cheaper rate. And Mariana, you have done rural reporting. 6 you have done rural reporting. Sometimes you travel just around in Sawam here. You see tomatoes. They give you a full basket for so cheap, right? Now, how long does it take for you to travel from Nsawam to Accra on your own? How much fuel do you consume? That same market woman goes to buy the tomatoes from those places cheap, factors in all those costs, and when they come, they want 3 times the amount that they bought the thing for. Question, is it fair? Because if the thing is cheaper, people will go and buy where it's cheaper. That's why people will move all the way from Kaswa, go past Malam Market, go past Kaswa Market, go past Kaneshi Market, and go all the way to Agbogbulushi to go and buy tomatoes. Even though at the end of the day, they would have made maybe just say 1 cedi because the transport etc. would have taken some. But they are trying to send a message to the market woman that, look, you are taking too much from us. Meanwhile, the vehicles that also bring the tomatoes to Agbogbulushi Market, some also bring some of the tomatoes to Kaneshi Market. Some take those tomatoes to Kaswa Market, to Medina Market, to all those markets. So how is it that the things are brought to you anyway, and then your prices are so high? Sometimes I don't understand. You want people to buy your things, you have overpriced them. Now who go buy? Who go buy?
Special Prosecutor and Attorney General. I would just want brief thoughts on that before we do this quick spot of commercials. Kind Ketsi, Gandor Cosmetics, and Pediasa Valley Resort. Sig, that's what you have heard. I've heard you a lot on this.
Too much.
Not too much, but I mean, the question which is being asked now is why won't the SP himself also write for authorization? Because after all, having listened to opinions from the length and breadth of the country from legal experts, it does suggest that he will need authorization in one way or the other. And so what is stopping him? And I asked that, and I bring in as well Martin Amidu's episode that relationship is broken beyond repair. Could that be the reason why they're not able to forge ahead and get us authorization in that regard?
I'm not a lawyer. I don't pretend to be one. I've seen the back and forth that has been expressed, and even taking time to listen to lawyers on what they think of what transpired in court. But you know, the Attorney General has had that long-standing view, even in opposition, about the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and I'm glad that he has not changed his stance. What I find a bit worrying is that perhaps they have to take a private citizen to go to court first before the Attorney General, now with the benefit of power, to have come forward to re-echo what he has always thought. And this is what, after 1 year, 3 months, into office with that power. So the question is, what was he doing all that while? Could he not have tabled this matter at cabinet, for example, for the executive to have sponsored something? I'm just thinking around it. That has been his view, and I'm happy that he has not changed his stance. Principle, that's fine, but why did it take him so long? That's first point, from a layman's point of view. Now, secondly, when the issue of Men's Gold happened, the lawyers for Men's Gold at the time, I think Kwame Kufu was the lawyer at the time, they wrote a certain press release. No, not a press release. They wrote a response to the Securities and Exchange Commission, Reverend Ogbami Tete, when they tried to crack the whip that, look, they do not understand what the SEC is asking them to the point of even trying to execute same. Now, the understanding I got from that was that, I have gone to buy a piece of land at Airport Hills for $2 billion. And so because the land is so expensive, I must not go to LADMA, that's the Ladade Kotopom Municipal Assembly, to go and acquire a permit to put up a building. For me, that's how I see that issue. Because the OSP has also, if you had listened to Mr. Sami Dako, who speaks for the OSP and the OSP himself, they have always insisted that, look, we have prosecutorial powers. Then you listen to a former attorney general like lawyer Niaikwe Otu. You listen to former Speaker of Parliament, Speaker Okwe, Professor Okwe. You listen to many other legal luminaries. And they all said, look, we knew this right from the get-go. But we decided to go play to the gallery anyway for political expediency, obviously. Now, it begs the question, are we really interested in fighting corruption? Or are we playing around corruption without zooming into the conversation of corruption? Because corruption hurts us. And like play, when the Auditor General releases its report annually, we are told how much we lost to payment irregularities, salary irregularities, this irregularities, that irregularities, blah, blah, blah. We see people trying to show bravado on television, Public Accounts Committee, I'm in charge here, everybody keep quiet, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, the person you are looking for the answer from is sitting right on your right-hand side. We are not interested in fighting corruption. So this whole OSP thing is a charade. And I like the opinion of the leader Thaddeus Sorry. He said, look, this fig tree that is not bearing fruit, cut it down. Because we are spending money on the OSP. Today, what's today's this? 20th. By the close of the month, there are over 300 staff maybe at the OSP will be expecting their salaries. The armored vehicles that Mr. Jabin drives around will be fueled. If the insurance expires, we will have to find money to pay for the insurance.
The
bodyguards, accommodation, feeding. Look, we're spending money. What are we getting in return?
7 billion cedis in savings.
Yeah, but I'm saying, what are we getting? Is that enough? Because
so in that case, is it the leadership and management of the institution we should deal with, or the institution itself?
But the lawyers have told us that the institution itself, the prosecutorial powers that it claims it has, per Article 88 of the Constitution, it doesn't have. No, that's one.
I mean, we've all agreed on that.
Okay, now two. What is making it so difficult for the OSP to write to the Attorney General to say, look,
Mawena calls it simple fiat.
I have caught Mawena, and when I caught Mawena, I caught him with palm oil in his palm. I have intention to believe that the palm oil that was smuggled from the Tema, what do you call it today? Tema Harbor, right? Has been in possession of Mawena all this while. Is the one retailing it small to make money on the blind side of the state. So I have prepared this evidence, and I want your authorization to take Mawena to court to bring him to book so that we can retrieve what we can.
Simple.
How difficult is that one?
Simple.
And I'm saying that we are not interested in fighting corruption because you see, the charade, the Tom and Jerry, the Ajana 1, Ajana 2 that we did at the Public Accounts Committee here in Accra. Somebody sat down at a public hearing on live TV and said that the Ministry of Finance made payments on behalf of the Ministry of Roads and Highways without our say-so. If anybody has done roads in this country, whether they are patching potholes, they are constructing concrete roads, they are doing asphalted roads, they are fixing gutters or whatever it covers or whatever it is, when we will find them, we will okay them, we will give them supervisors, and we will finish and say that, oh, this is the work they have done, this is a certificate they have raised, it corroborates whatever work they have done, please pay them because they have done the work. Is that not how the process works? Now, somebody sits at the finance ministry and for whatever reason, by whatever anointing from the National Cathedral, decides that, oh, well, let us pay. Then you come to a Public Accounts Committee, the people are sitting there. You are sitting here as chairman. The former deputy finance minister is sitting because we can't find the finance minister's boss. In fact, she literally became a minister of state at the finance ministry. Dr. Amin Dandab is still in parliament, is he not? Dr. Stephen Amuastika is still in parliament, is he not? Was he not a deputy?
Even if he's not, we know his address.
All of them, I'm saying that answers that parliament is fooling all of us to believe that they are looking for is in the parliament that where they are seated. The answers that they are looking for. I'm sitting here with you. You are the chairman, right? I am the root ministry. Phil is the finance ministry. Sixtus is the former finance minister. Okay. Now, he doesn't like that one.
No, you continue.
Oh, no, I didn't say his no. So
Can we continue?
So I'm saying that you are the chairman. I am the one in the seat making the claims somebody has paid.
I get it.
That matter could have been resolved right here. Give Abner Sari the Bible, Quran, or crucifix, and say swear the oath, and tell us how did that payment happen.
So we
are just playing around the thing. We are not serious in fighting any corruption.
And I was going to lend credence to that writer by Thaddeus Sawyer as well. That look, it looks like a fast one has just been played on the entire populace, where we agree that the Attorney General cannot prosecute its own. Appointed by the president, brings about limitation and what have you. Then when we decide that we are going to set up an independent office,
right,
it is to be appointed by the president,
same president,
who we say he appoints the Attorney General, and so it's a political appointment. Or the president can delegate to the Attorney General, who we say cannot prosecute.
Look, even
after that is done, then we didn't amend the constitution to allow for the supposed independence.
And even to make it worse, the president appoints the Attorney General. The same president appoints the OSP, who is supposed to be independent. But who are the faces on the OSP board?
They are all
The
appointed.
OSP, the OSP is actually nominated by the Attorney General.
Right.
For subsequent
appointment after going through vetting.
So if the office became vacant today, the Leonard Dominic Ayene would be the one to nominate for subsequent approval and appointment by the president.
The OSP board, for example, has a policeman on it, right? Now, if the policeman, assuming without admitting that he's a COP, and he's seen just one step away from becoming IGP, are you suggesting to me that he or she or whoever it may be will go fighting the government of the day at the expense of the IGP position that could come and fall on his lap nicely? We are not serious in fighting. Look, right from the get-go, we got it wrong. And we did it for political expediency. When we created the office of the special prosecutor, the whole intention was that, let's pick somebody from the other side who has wined and dined with whoever we suspect has been corrupt, so that that individual, because he now has some level of acrimonious relationship with them, will now be the one fishing them out for us. And that was what we were doing. Look, how many times did Martin Amidu not complain about the fact that he was not being properly resourced to do his work? How much resources are we giving to Mr. Kessie Jabin and his administration as compared to that of Mr. Martin Amidu? What did Martin Amidu achieve? And what did Mr. Kessie Jabin achieve? At least if you are going to school, when the term ends, you bring your terminal report, no? Where is Mr. Kessie Jabin's terminal report? We read Martin Amidu's terminal report in the corruption risk assessment of the Ejapa deal. And that was where he labeled the president who appointed him as the mother serpent of all corruption, to the point that he said that he doesn't believe that the president at the time could fight corruption today, yesterday, and tomorrow. The president has not responded to any of these, and that's a serious indictment. Serious indictment. That I don't believe that you, who appointed me to fight corruption, based on how much I've seen around you, can fight corruption yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
You don't have the will.
You don't have. Go read
Neither
the.
do you have the commitment.
Go and read the document.
But Mawena, I have always maintained that the office of an independent office of a special prosecutor is very much needed in a country like ours.
No doubt.
2, I've always said that all the reasons for which we ended up creating the office were justifiable and justified. I've always said that we all acknowledged and admitted the challenges, the practical constitutional challenge that the office was bound to face sooner than later. We all admitted. Admittedly also, we all danced around that problem, didn't do what we were supposed to have done, were more interested in kickstarting the office so that the operationalization of the office would bring out the practical challenges for address. And this is one of those practical challenges. I've also always argued that, look, given my position that we need an independent office of a special prosecutor, I would be a hypocrite to say scrap that office, because the popular opinion is that the current occupant of the office is either non-performing or underperforming. So on the basis of that, I've always argued, look, going by the principle of not throwing away the baby with the bad water, or giving a dog a bad name and hanging it, we cannot say that because Mr. Kissie Ejabeng probably lost all his cases. I'm not saying he lost all his cases. I'm saying it's just an argument. That even if the argument is that since he took over the office, he has not won a single case, that is not enough to say scrap the office. Even if the argument is that Mr. Kissie Ejabeng failed to deliver the former finance minister and probably lied to the people, as Martin Kpebu would always argue. Even if that is the argument, that is not enough to call for a dissolution of the office, the entire office. Even if the argument is that the amount of resources we have put into that office, we do not seem to have received or retained any value for that. It is not enough to say disband the office. So what do? The practical challenge of sharing the prosecutorial powers of the Attorney General was always bound to come. We all knew about it, at least for all those who were part of the conversations from the very beginning. And it is for that reason that arguments were made about decoupling the Ministry of Justice from the Attorney General's department. Some said make the Director of Public Prosecutions independent and empowered to do what the SP is or was supposed to do. All of those were considered. Now, what we need is what? Mawena, in your words, a simple fiat.
Now you are using
How?
The witness.
If it's a simple fiat we need for the office to be functional, what is stopping the AG from giving that fiat? The law says what? Who should approach who for what? prosecutor will say, Mr. AG, my eye is on this ball. Please grant me your authorization. Let me go ahead. AG will say, go ahead. And he goes ahead.
No, in fact, since I had the privilege of speaking to the deputy AG, so when this executive instrument, it will be an executive instrument, when it comes through, the cases will not go to the AG for review. So all you have is the authorization, and it will be handed out to specific individuals who will be going to. You don't have to carry the case to the Attorney General and say that, look at it, look at that.
Remember on Friday, it was one of the questions I asked.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I asked that when I got the chance, which brought me to ask subsequently that then, what is the concern about independence if they don't have to bring dockets to you to review before they go to
individual dockets?
And he said, well, there's still the challenge because as and when the Attorney General, because you are prosecuting on his behalf, can assume jurisdiction over the case and enter a nolle prosequi.
Exactly.
That is
exactly.
The otherwise,
recall my
you
example.
don't have to be going
Recall
to
my example on the same point the deputy AG confirmed. That imagine that the AG, and this is got nothing to do with the present AG, is the office we are referring, whoever the occupant of the office is. Imagine that the AG has a personal interest in a particular corruption or corruption-related case prosecuted by the SP. What happens? You are under me. I can call in any case at any time. I can give direction on any case at any time. Then you go to touch one of my own, or you come and touch me. What happens in that case? That was where the question, you see, at all material points, the guiding principle had always been, how do we make this office independent in the truest sense of the word independent? To the extent that even the salary and emoluments of the office holder was considered. How do we ensure that it is not weaponized against him or her? To the extent that the tenure of office of the office holder was considered. How do we ensure that
he has protection of tenure?
Yes, a president will not fire the SP simply because that president disagrees with the SP on a particular matter. You want to prosecute one of my ministers, I call you to the Jubilee House. This case you want to deal with, you better stop it. Go and do some other thing, but forget this one. They say, Mr. President, this one I lie. I am a principled man. I will prosecute this matter. And say, okay, you are fired. You are relieved of your... We have seen it happen in this country. We have seen it. People were transferred from offices because they insisted on... What story did Domelevo tell about his removal from office?
Well, his date of birth, his nationality, his office key laws were changed.
So, in order to avoid all of these things,
in fact, the Supreme Court called that decision to push Domelevo out as lawless. It was a 9-0 decision. And
came rather too late.
Well, but the Supreme Court, the evidence is still there, but it came too late. But I think that at the point, the Supreme Court themselves had to, let the public know that this is where we stand
on this matter.
We think that it was wrong. Now, fast forward, who became the board chair of the same institution that was pushing Domelevo out? It was the same individual who was interested in getting Domelevo out.
So, can we argue that the audit service, not audit, there was a Auditor General at that time was independent. So, I mean, the guiding principle had always been that, look, we understand our politics and we cannot pretend about it. How do we ensure that whoever occupies this office does not run into problems with whoever is or forms the government of the day? How do we ensure? And that is it. So, Mawina, respectfully, I maintain that look, there may be practical challenges with the office of the special prosecutor as it stands now, or as it is presently composed. But it does not mean outrightly we throw it away. We need the office. How do we attain or achieve the reforms that we are desirous of, that will give the office its true purpose and meaning, and ensure that it attains and achieves the objects for which it was set up? As for whether the office is needed or not, it's not an argument we should even be going back
We
to
should countenance.
at all.
It is.
At all. If we feel that we are not getting value for money, that's a good question to a good point to make. But where is the loophole? Is it the entirety of the office? Is it the head of the office? Is it the finance director of the office? Is it some investigator in the office? Is it the director of prosecutions in the office? Is it those? I think that is the dissection we should be doing.
And the last point I will make, so that we can take this break, is we need to move beyond individuals representing the entirety of the institution. The office of the special prosecutor should run, must run, whether or not the SP is good enough to do the job, competent enough to do the job, is doing the job. Because the prosecutors who go to the court, the SP doesn't go to court every time. He goes to court as and when. We need to have the institution of the office of the special prosecutor well oiled, running, such that, the term, it's a fixed 7-year term, afterwards it's not renewed, right? Such that should the term of this current SP come to an end, and we are awaiting a fresh appointment even, the office can be running. Cases will be in court. They will be moving argument and be advancing argument in the court. It shouldn't be about the person of the special prosecutor.
You see,
because there's even a deputy.
There's a deputy, but then you see,
Who is the current deputy?
it's the same person. I think it was the same person. The lady, I've forgotten her name yet.
Is it Loretta?
Loretta Lamte. Yeah.
Yes.
See, the cardinal point of the creation of the office of the special prosecutor is to fight corruption. That's the cardinal point. It is also, if you will, if you want to liken it to the cardinal point of Operation Galamstock, Operation Vanguard, Operation Halt 1 and 2, Operation whatever it is, was to stop Galamsey. Did those initiatives succeed in stopping Galamsey? No. But we ended up spending money. Has OSP been able to stop corruption and corruption-related activities? No. So it's not about the long public talk. Let's not deflect by whether or not the office is necessary or it's the occupant of the office or blah, blah, blah. Because right now, that is what is in the public domain. One side says...
How old is the office?
The office has been there since 2017.
Between 2017 and now, we cannot be asking whether it has been able to stop corruption.
No. I'm saying that. I'm not asking for it to stop it abruptly. But you see, the guns, we have an adage that ke jobaso ejebanminto. If the dance is going to be beautiful or sweet, no, ours is not an apao. I can't say if the dance is going to be nice. You will see the progress from morning, right? The signs from morning. The guy says if the dance or the party is going to be nice, you see it in the arrangement of the drums. You see, I can't say
in the arrangement of the drums.
I can't say you see it in the morning, but we will say you will see it in the arrangement of the drums. If they arrange the drums well, you know that this. So now we have seen the drums arranged or being arranged. and it's telling us that this dance is not going to be sweet. Why do we still want them to continue putting the drums out there? The cardinal point is that
So
we want.
you believe the office should go?
I didn't say that. I'm saying that the cardinal point is that we want to end corruption. Now, in the public domain, there's one side group of lawyers, CSOs, individuals that say, let the office go. And others that say, oh, no, let's amend, blah, 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 and let it not go. How do those viewpoints help us to fight corruption, which is the cardinal point? Let's not lose focus. This government came to power promising us Operation Recover or Loot. And we were giving the impression that Operation Recover or Loot had gathered enough evidence to nail people.
Right.
Is the evidence still available? Where are the people? Why are they not being nailed? Because it will go a long way to deplete the goodwill that this government has.
Right.
The goodwill. Corruption is the focus, is the end game, not whether an office should stay or go.
Let's go for this quick break. When we return, Billy Shan is here. We'll get into matters in relation to sports pretty shortly. To the top of the hour, Billy Shen is here, like I mentioned. He'll do sports for us. We're interested in the Black Stars. Our new coach, has he started work yet? Or, I mean, since the announcement and his initial speeches, were you to hear anything in relation to whether or not he settled in, he started work? Do you have anything to tell us in relation to that?
What we expect is he brings about 4 additional staff to complement him, and that will mean that there's a high possibility that some of the current staff members or the technical team members in the Black Stars will be shelved for the additional 4. And so we are waiting to see
Who would those be?
who the people
No,
will
as
be.
in what positions are they occupying?
Oh, we've not been told on which 4 he's bringing. If we know which 4 he's bringing, then we'll know the positions they are going to occupy.
Right.
By the
But we
names.
have a technical team already.
We do.
And if he brings his own 4, it means that those ones are gone.
It means some of them.
Some of them.
Yes, because there were about 18, 19 people.
Jesus is Lord.
uh,
Under Otoado.
Yes, in the technical team. Yes. Yeah. There were a number.
Let's look forward. Let's
Charlie,
look forward.
Charlie, do you miss Otoado?
Why should I?
I'm asking you a question. Do you miss him? Don't
No.
ask me a question.
No,
Rita.
I don't.
You don't miss
No,
him at all.
I don't. I
But
don't.
you were earlier. You were here, the one who was literally his advocate.
No. I was
I'm
just
not
putting.
sure advocate is a fair enough word.
Advocacy is a very strong word. I was
the
just.
one, when
I
he
was
comes
just.
and we're talking about
No, no,
Otoado,
no, no,
then
no.
he would be,
No,
on
no.
the.
I was just leaving the facts so that people will judge. But on my personal opinion.
But now you have an opinion.
Yeah, let me. Oh,
Yeah,
my
now,
personal.
yeah,
my,
now we want to
my,
hear you.
Which had been shelved.
My
Chalaba, the new guy, the new
For a
guy.
long guy.
My personal opinion is he should have been sacked last year. So they even took
If
too long to
you
sack
say
him.
if you make this statement again, you buy me watch it. You and Mawina, you fought me here around the same table. You fought me. I said, oh, it's too late. Nothing can be done. Let's just move on with life.
I don't
that-
know why you
no,
continue to misrepresent
Yeah.
facts
So the
Which
fact
to
facts?
advance your argument.
You know the show is
okay,
recorded, right?
Okay, wait.
You can
This
pull
is-
up the recording.
wait. So the thing is,
Uh-huh.
should he have been sacked at the start of 2025? Yes, he should have been. After the World Cup qualifiers, where he led Ghana to qualify, should he have been sacked? That would have been difficult to make a case against, because he had done the most important thing, which is to qualify Ghana to the World Cup. So a case to make him sacked will be difficult.
But I was making it.
But you were making your case, but it
And
would have
you
been
were
difficult.
convinced.
But it would have been difficult anyways. So I believe what turned the tide was that performance against Austria,
Which
where
is
we
the
lost-
problem.
where we
Because
lost by 5
even
goals to
me
1.
as a layman,
And to
I saw
trigger-
that performance coming
Yeah.
from miles away. Even as a layman, I only follow Black Stars. I'm not really,
Yeah.
I'm not really a football person.
Yeah.
When it comes to Black Stars, I'm a football expert. So even for somebody like me who could see that Austria and is it
Germany, yeah.
performance from miles away,
Yeah.
how didn't the management of Ghana football see that and realize that we were wasting so this new coach would have had at least 1 year to
Yeah.
prepare the team.
Yeah.
Now he has 2 months
Yeah.
to prepare the team.
Yeah.
And what expectations should we have of him?
The thing is, it's now in his advantage more than anything, because he can.
are you
easily-
sure?
Oh, he can easily tell you that you didn't give him as much time as he needed.
Exactly.
But
set
he
ourselves
knew,
up
he
to
knew, he knew,
But he
he
knew the
didn't
risks.
have time, and
He
No, he knew the
he
risk,
still came for the
but you
job.
see,
So
you
that,
can't.
that won't be a good
So-
enough.
No,
so
Mawina,
what-
but you
what-
cannot.
what
you
job-
cannot at this point tell him that your target is to get to the semi-finals.
No.
Quarterfinals.
That even feels that, if we are being honest.
In fact,
That-
he's the
that
one I'm
feels-
expecting to say, "Oh, we'll get out of the group stages."
That feels like a
The man should commit suicide.
So wait, so that
Uh-huh.
feels like a dreamy thought. This is why Ghana is the 4th least ranked team to qualify for the World Cup, meaning we are not good.
Ghana,
Put it in your head.
Ghana Black
For
Stars.
anybody listening and watching, please, we are not that good.
Oh, Charlie.
No. This one I'm not going to talk about.
no,
When you say this,
This one-
it hits me.
Don't say
oh.
it painfully like that.
No, this one
Is this the Abedi Pele?
This one I'm giving opinion plus fact.
Is
Fact
this Abedi
the
Pele's
fact-
Black Stars?
The fact on the card.
1
is-
minute to do that, so we can. You
The
can
fact
come
on
in.
the card is we are the 4th least ranked team to
Ghana
qualify.
Black Stars.
Yes, to qualify for this World Cup, and that shows that we are not good enough. So if we qualify even out of this group, we have done well. Please, put it in
Sule
your head.
Montare Black
Put it in your
Stars.
head. Finish.
Well, we're not
in
good.
your head.
I'm sure in the coming days that will be unraveled to us.
we are not
proper.
good, saying.
Yenyade.
And
Just say
then-
you're
and
bong.
then-
Yenyade.
and
Yes,
then-
sir.
And then
Are you mentioning a player
no,
who
that
will not
move.
be called, or his chances are this
no,
one?
Kudus is not going to the World
Kudus.
Cup.
Why? What's that?
He's injured.
Oh, he's injured. He had a relapse. So he was in recovery mode from his initial injury that he had in January. So I think at the beginning of April, he had a relapse,
Oh.
which means that he has to have surgery, and which means that the injury will last 3 extra months. That will
Our-
go
our
into the World
problems
Cup.
are
Because-
not
Charlie,
ended.
into the
Charlie,
World Cup.
I
So
think that
he's not
sometimes the
going.
house people to our part.
Oh, I beg you.
Oh,
I beg
why
you.
are you rolling
Are
that?
our
So,
problems
so imagine
Too many
compounded?
problems
imagine,
at the same time.
Already, your team is one of the least ranked teams to qualify. Your star
One of
player
your
is
star
injured.
players is
Yeah.
not going.
And your coach has only 2 months
Yes,
to do
and
something.
your coach has been
But
switched.
do
have
you
a new
from where
one.
you sit, do you think the coach knows the team?
I think
He doesn't have time, but
I
does
think
he
knows
know
enough.
the team? Does he know at least
They have
some
given-
of the
they have given him a
the
brief. He
names?
has read documents.
So I
their
believe,
profiles.
I
It's a
believe
matter.
that every coach that shows interest in managing the Black Stars knows the team to some extent.
Right.
Okay,
If you don't know the team, you won't show interest.
okay.
That's a
Meaning
fair
you
point.
believe.
Are you sure?
No,
maybe you saw that this is a
That's a fair
desperate
point.
nation.
No,
Let me go and chop money small.
No. So the thing is, there were candidates, a number of candidates who were interested in the job, and who the GFA had talks with. And I'll reckon that a number of these candidates had some knowledge of the team at least,
Mm-hmm.
and knew what to do with some players in the team, and had their identity. We know Carlos Queiroz, he has their identity. Although we don't know his identity, but I know Carlos Queiroz has one.
Right.
So at least,
Is he going to get a friendly before the World
Yeah.
Cup?
yes,
There'll be
you
at
get
least two.
one against Mexico in on 22nd May,
Mm-hmm.
and then one against Wales on the 2nd of June.
Wales.
Yes,
Yeah, we
Wales.
play Wales.
On the 2nd of
Europe.
June in Cardiff.
So in May we get to see what he has.
Yes.
Right. We have to go. Bill Eshen will do sports for us now.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to Sports here on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. My name is Bill Ishen. Let's start off from the Black Stars because former Ghana international Sammy Kufuor has called for support for new Black Stars head coach Carlos Queiroz. He added that he is not concerned with Queiroz's defensive style of play, as Ghana plays that way in any case. There's more in this following 3 Sports interview.
I will just get people who understand the concept of Ghana football, be around them, get to know what is Ghanaian likes. The players, I think by now he has started talking to some of the players that he think that they will be available for him. But I also advise that he get people who also understand Ghana football, who are playing there, who have tasted it, to also have a talk with him. For me, like I said, it's not about the coach. I think the players that we know that they can do better, we should give them confidence. And I think coach knows better than we do in terms of talking to the players the way that you want them to do. So for me, I think either we like it or we don't like it, we have already signed him.
Yeah.
So we give him the necessary support. Critics here and there, it will not help. It will not. We can criticize whatever that we want to criticize. Either we like it or we don't like it. He is going to sit on the bench.
That was Sammy Kufuor talking about Carlos Queiroz, the new head coach of the Black Stars. Now moving on to the second semi-final of the MTN FA Cup, Dreams FC booked their place in the final after defeating Midiama 3-2 at the Swedru Sports Stadium. The Still Believe boys will now face Nations FC, who reached their first ever final after a 1-0 win over Adriana FC in the other semi-final. Following the game, the head coach of Midiama, Ibrahim Tanko, admitted that the absence of key players impacted the side's performance. He added that his team's focus will now shift to the Premier League title race.
It affected a bit, but I think those who play has also shown what they can do, so that we will have a fair idea. Because we still now have the league to compete with, so definitely we are going to concentrate on that, and then hopefully from next week I will get the full house and then train for the next game.
That was Ibrahim Tanko, the head coach of the Morven Yellows. Meanwhile, his opponent and coach of Dreams FC, Winfred Drummond, stated that his team's priority is winning the FA Cup, as it is a more realistic target in comparison to the Ghana Premier League.
At that point, we realized that we cannot chase the league. So let's switch our priority. Let's switch our concentration on the MTN FA Cup, which we have won it before. And if you look at the round, right from the round of 64, 32, and getting to this stage, we have told a very impressive performance. And I want to take this opportunity to commend the players, Suraj, Entry, Gideos, all Dreams FC players. But we still have one, stage or one round to play to make sure we go all out and harness this trophy, because look, we have a history behind this FA Cup, and Dreams FC want to win it.
That was Winfred Dorman speaking there. Let's do some women's football because Ampem Dankwa Ladies produced a memorable comeback performance to defeat Hazakis Ladies 2-1 to clinch the 2025-26 Malta Guinness Women's Premier League title on Sunday at the Swedru Sports Stadium. Our women's football expert Akosi Eje was at the venue and filed this report.
Ampem Dankwa Ladies marked their presence in the Ghana Women's Premier League by winning their first ever title in 2016 against Hazakis Ladies. Year after year, they have been competing against the same rivals, the same competitors. But today at the Swedru Sports Stadium, it was Ampem Dankwa Ladies who rose up on the day to win 2-1 against Hazakis Ladies. Goals from Priscilla Oche and Gloria Adomako cancelled out Abiba Issa's goal that she scored in the first half to give Ampem Dankwa the trophy in the 2025-2026 season. But it also means that now Hazakis Ladies and Ampem Dankwa Ladies are at par in terms of the trophies won in the Ghana Women's Premier League. Hazakis Ladies now have won 5. Ampem Dankwa Ladies, after winning their first title in 2016, have also won 5. So when it comes to who will represent Ghana at the next WAFU B Women's Champions League qualifiers, it will be Ampem Dankwa Ladies from Teshiman representing Ghana.
That was Akosi Eje filing the report on the Women's Premier League. Now, still on women's football, head coach of Ghana's under-17 women's team, the Black Maidens, that is Joe Nana Adakwa, reaffirmed the team's commitment to strict age verification following past sanctions over eligibility breaches. His remarks come after the Confederation of African Football banned Ghana from 2 editions of the Under-17 Women's World Cup African qualifiers over an age fraud incident back in 2022. The fallout triggered reforms in player screening within the national setup. Now, speaking after his side's emphatic 6-0 win over Togo on Saturday, Mr. Adakwa stressed that lessons have been learned and safeguards strengthened to prevent a repeat.
In terms of ages, right now, we are always careful about whatever we are doing. Any player that we pick, we send the player to FA to go through everything, go into their system and see that they can play for U17. So, no shaky.
That was Junana Dakwa speaking there. Let's head to Europe because Manchester City are breathing down Arsenal's necks after Erling Haaland's strike beat the Gunners 2-1 on Sunday to land a potentially decisive blow in the Premier League title race. Pep Guardiola's men are now close to within 3 points of the leaders and have a game in hand with momentum firmly in their favour as Arsenal's quest for a first league title in 22 years unravels. After the game, Pep Guardiola said that Manchester City's vital win over Arsenal has only given his side hope in the Premier League title race as they look to hand out the Gunners.
The momentum, I said the momentum for Arsenal is bad. When I've seen today playing, I don't have this bad momentum. So they are semi-final Champions League. They didn't lose one single game. The momentum shift in one instant. So they know it. Have a lot of respect of that. Of course, we want to win because we fought a lot as well for many players today. Some players, the first time that played for the Premier League, felt a little bit the pressure. His performance was not top, but it's normal. It's a process.
Now, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta shrugged off the 2-1 defeat by title rivals Manchester City and has said the Premier League starts again with 5 games left to play.
We absolutely did that, you could see, and especially the way we ended the game and right from the beginning the attitude of the team, and we could have been a bit more composed in certain moments, but we certainly took the game to areas that we wanted and we knew that we had a big chance to win it. We've been very close, not close enough, and now we have to reset. We lost an opportunity today, big one, but there is still another 5 to go, and we need to reset and go again because it's a lot of positive to take from the game.
That was Mikel Arteta speaking. Now, Jan Pofankra, the Director General of the National Sports Authority, has reaffirmed the NSA's commitment to supporting cycling in Ghana, highlighting efforts to grow the sport through stronger structures, partnerships, and events like the 800-kilometer ride from Tamale to Accra.
I mean, from time immemorial, the Cycling Federation of Ghana, they've had a very good relationship with the National Sports Authority. It's been like that, and it continues to be strengthened and deepened beyond ensuring and helping to make sure the Cycling Federation is empowered. There is also the collaboration between our technical team, who are always at hand when you have major cycling events. They are the ones who help to map the routes. They are the ones who support in the coordinations, and they also do the education to the cyclists before, support during, and then the after. So there's a very strong link and bond between the National Sports Authority and Ghana Cycling, and that continues to be enhanced.
That was the Amp of Wankra speaking there, bringing an end to sports here on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. My name is Bill Ishen. We'll see you same time tomorrow, more updates from the world of sports. But until then, have a great morning.